right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Tornadoes touch down.
Friends, this is a tornado on the ground.
Putting people in the path of the storm.
I could hear the locomotive type sound like a train engine heading for us.
Leaving a trail of damage and even injuries.
She just opened the basement door up and head down steps when it hit.
Tonight we have Weather Impact Alert team coverage of the aftermath of the storm. The threat of severe weather has moved out, bringing an end to our Weather Impact Alert Day. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. The storms moved out of our region about 3 hours ago. The immediate St. Louis area was relatively spared, but people in our southern and Illinois counties are left with some damage, in some cases destruction. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell has been here for 12 hours tracking these storms, and he's here to break down how those storms develop and is tracking our next threat, prompting more Weather Impact Alert Days this week, Scott.
Well, the first thing is that we are in the clear at this point around St. Louis for the remainder of the night. That's number one. You're looking out here into St. Charles. St. Charles had heavy rain, but largely spared from the more intense thunderstorms that ended up forming down to our south. And over the last 5-6 hours, we've watched that line track across the bi-state region. Your Weather Impact team tracking these storms, trying to keep you safe. A lot of cloud-to-ground lightning with that. We take the lightning off, and you can see this line with embedded supercells. In some cases earlier today, we had storms out ahead of the main line, and those were the ones that, in particular, have caused some significant damage, especially going down into parts of Arkansas, down into Kentucky, even the National Weather Service in Paducah having to seek shelter during the storm because of a tornado going through there. Behind this line, it is all clear from a severe weather threat. The severe weather threat out ahead of that. Look at the wind damage reports, the hail, and all the funnel clouds and tornadoes reported. It's not even on here, but Potosi, that will likely be confirmed tornado, as well as Greenville, Illinois. There may be a few more. The National Weather Service will investigate that heading into tomorrow, and they did a great job today with all of the warnings across our region. Again, skies are starting to clear out from the west. We expect a break overnight tonight. It gets a little cooler. Tomorrow morning, while we may have some sunshine out the door early, we start to see the clouds rolling back in. It's all part of the same upper level pattern that kicked this off on Sunday with the strong thunderstorms across the region, brought us the severe weather today, and starting tomorrow afternoon and continuing into the upcoming weekend brings us waves of rain, heavy at times. Enjoy tomorrow morning's a little bit of sunshine. We'll be in the low 50s in St. Louis. That doesn't last long. Your Weather Impact Alert Days back for Friday and Saturday. At that point, we'll be looking at enough rain where flash flooding and river flooding become big concerns. So clear those drains, check the sump pump, make sure your gutters are flowing freely. We're going to have upwards of 5+ inches of rain, especially south and southeast of St. Louis. More on that in a few minutes.
It has been up and down for almost, I guess, about 7 minutes now.
Just incredible video out of Washington County, Missouri. One of several videos we received from viewers showing a tornado near Potosi. And it's in one of the hardest hit areas today.
Edgecliff Farms and Winery had extensive damage on their property, but luckily no one was injured. 5 on your side's Laura Barcheski leads off our team coverage from the farm.
Edgecliff Farms and Winery took a direct hit from this storm. One of the owners here actually saw one of the funnel clouds forming. It took out this entire shed here, moved along down their property, took out a silo and another barn. It's still unclear just how extensive the damage is, but they're going to be cleaning up for a month to come.
I could see the wind forming this funnel. And I could hear the locomotive type sound like a train engine heading for us. And I said, time to go into what we call the trophy room, where it's all in stone. And so we went there. And then the whole house rattled and shook.
Steffi Littlefield says luckily their homes were spared, but they came out to destruction all around them. Their next biggest concern, their livelihood, their winery.
We all went outside to see if that building was still standing, and it was, but our lower barn, silo, machine shed, one of our other loafing sheds, 2 other loafing sheds actually, are just destroyed.
This is what that silo and barn looked like before the storm, and this is what it looks like now.
That silo's been here since my grandfather started this in like 1930 when he started the cattle operation, and it's made out of these huge concrete blocks of a red color, and it's just been one of the things that's been a real trademark for our property is this red silo, and it's disappeared.
The winery is largely untouched, but they've lost power and have wine in the chillers they're trying to save. At the end of the day, she's glad they listened to the life-saving warnings.
When you see the kind of destruction that really happened here in just a blink of an eye, you really need to go for shelter.
Reporting from Edgecliff Farms, Laura Barcheski, 5 on your side.
The damage in Washington County was widespread tonight. 5 on your side's Tracy Henson tells us about a family who lost everything.
I'm just about 6 miles northwest of Potosi off of Long Roy Farm Road. The house behind me, the family was in it when the tornado came through. The neighbor, actually, his house unharmed, came running across the street and got them out of the basement. He said he had to move stairs to get to them. Everyone in that house was okay. The structure, though, all you can see right now actually was their garage. Their entire house has been swept off of its foundation. Near Potosi, I'm Tracy Henson, 5 on your side.
Washington County Emergency Management, the Salvation Army, and the American Red Cross have set up a temporary shelter for storm victims. It's located at Potosi Southern Baptist Church on W State Highway 8.
The storms moved across the Missouri River. Officials confirm a tornado struck Bond County, Illinois. A woman there is now recovering at a St. Louis hospital. Her family says she was running to safety the moment the storm hit. Moments later, her home crashed to the ground. 5 on your side's Brent Solomon was the only reporter there moments after it happened.
It's definitely devastating.
Street signs toppled to the ground. Trees snapped in half. Only a snapshot of the new reality for several Bond County families.
Her brother called me and said that I need to get down there and help her if I could.
And when Linus Marty got here to Millersburg and Cottonwood Road,
there's nothing left of it. Nothing left of this, her house, her shed, and the neighbor's house.
His sister-in-law was preparing to get to a safe place.
She just opened the basement door up, head down steps when it hit.
Within moments, her home was no longer standing.
Her brother said she was wandering around out in the yard, didn't know where she was at. She just knew the house was blown away.
Across the street, a neighbor's home also destroyed. Relatives say no one was inside, although they were still looking for their dogs hours after the storm. Authorities here shutting down the main road for hours, and for good reason. Downed power lines, debris, and other road hazards.
Yeah, I've been running down to Missouri, so I'm just trying to get back home.
James Rhodes is a truck driver who has no choice but to wait it out.
I've been here a couple hours now.
Understanding the gravity of the situation is fueling his patience as first responders worked to get things back to normal, especially since there are families here who have lost it all.
It isn't none anymore. It's all gone. It's scattered out across the yard out there, field.
Is that the hardest part about this?
Yeah. She had a tote of family pictures in the one closet, and it's gone. So that's what she's mostly worried about.
Memories lost in a severe storm. Relatives wish never would have happened.
There's nothing left of it.
Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
A fast-moving storm snapped power lines near the small community of St. Jacob in Madison County. Robert Townsend takes us there.
I'm Robert Townsend. We are about 3 miles north of St. Jacob here in Madison County, Illinois. A firefighter tells me around 5:30 this evening, a big storm blew through this rural area and snapped those 2 power lines you see back there on Marine Road. That's near Hunter School Road. There are lots of cornfields in this area. We are seeing 2 homes on Marine Road. The firefighter says right now it appears people who live in this rural area still have power. That's the good news. However, he says that will temporarily change if an Ameren crew comes out here and replaces the 2 power lines. Firefighters have temporarily shut down this road. You can see the truck is still here, and that's the very latest from here. Back to you guys.
And back in Missouri, the tornado sirens were activated in Jefferson County.
The damage was minimal there, with reports of downed trees in DeSoto. Jefferson County EMA says it sent crews down to assist Potosi. The Antonia Fire Department confirms to 5 on your side, lightning hit Windsor Middle School in Imperial. We're still working to find out if there was any damage or if it will affect school tomorrow.
And as Scott mentioned, our next big weather impact alert is the threat of rain, and lots of it over the next few days. This could mean flash flooding, homes at risk of flooding, and river overflow, including the Merrimack River in Eureka. The Eureka Fire Protection District is prepared for swiftwater rescues. They showed us the boats they use, protective gear, and new life-saving equipment funded by a recent grant. Their advice for the days ahead: be prepared.
If you see water over the roadway, turn around, don't drown. I think some other important parts is really just kind of prepare yourself. Think about alternative routes. Think about, if we do have these closures that are coming, think how you might get other places.
Remember, just a few inches of water can sweep a car off the road. If you find yourself in that situation, the chief says to call 911 and do your best to stay calm. Tonight, storm damage assessments are underway in western Missouri.
The same storms that moved through our area tonight spawned a tornado that caused widespread damage in the town of Nevada. At least one person was injured, but so far no deaths have been reported. And tonight we're getting a look at some storm damage out of central Missouri. A tornado hit the small town of Pilot Grove, that's west of Columbia. No injuries were reported, but as you can see, the storm did cause a lot of damage.
While the severe weather threat is over, the rain's going to add up by this weekend, where the flood concerns are the highest, and how much rain we're expecting from this system that hangs around until Sunday.
This is crazy.
Visibility gone with the wind. The parts of Missouri and Arkansas turned into a dust bowl today. St. Louis city leaders celebrate positive crime trends. Tonight, experts are taking a bite out of those crime stats.
Dust storm up here at Evening Star, Arkansas. Driving through the gravel here, I can hardly even see anything. This is crazy.
Strong winds caused a dust storm in northeast Arkansas and southeast Missouri. A driver in Evening Star, Arkansas captured this video in the town of Evening Star, Arkansas, showing zero visibility on the road. The dust also caused problems about 40 miles north on the Missouri side of the border. Tonight, the Major Case Squad is investigating the death of a 22-year-old woman. Investigators say 22-year-old Jemiah Duke of Granite City was dropped off to Shea Regional Hospital with multiple gunshot wounds around 10:30 last night. She was pronounced dead. Anyone with information is urged to call the Major Case Squad. That number is 618-332-4252, or you can leave an anonymous tip with Crime Stoppers at 866-371-TIPS.
New details tonight on a deadly crash in Tower Grove South. We now know a bicyclist was killed after being hit by multiple cars. This happened just before 8 last night on Gravois near Baumberger Avenue. St. Louis police are looking for the SUV that first hit the man. He was then hit by 3 other cars. Only 2 of those drivers stayed on the scene. The city of St. Louis is off to one of the safest 3-month stretches to start the year in decades.
That's according to new crime stats being touted by Police Chief Robert Tracy and Mayor Tashara Jones. However, crime experts are bracing for a summer surge. They say when you zoom out and look at the full year, not just 3 months at a time, you see a clearer trend line. Still, the chief said the numbers clearly show the city is getting safer as police close out more murder cases.
Listen, we all know St. Louis, like other cities, has its issues. You know, we're not saying it's not. There's a lot more work to do here. There's challenges, but if you stay within the same per capita, we're staying within the same area. This is progress.
Mayor Jones is hoping voters give her credit for the steady decline in homicides when they head to the polls next Tuesday. She continues to look into legal avenues to block the state takeover of the police department.
Tonight, St. Louis County Executive Sam Page is facing complaints he violated election laws in his attempt to block Proposition B. The measure on next week's ballot asks to give the county council the power to remove department heads appointed by Page. The Secretary of State's office alleges Page spent nearly $5,000 in public money on political mailers opposing the Prop B. In a separate complaint, the Missouri Ethics Commission accuses Page of violating campaign finance disclosure laws.
President Trump calls today Liberation Day. Just hours ago, he unveiled the largest tariff package in generations. He wants to impose 10% tariffs on all imports and additional taxes on other countries. Democrats and even some Republicans are critical of the plan, which economists say will raise prices for us, the American consumers.
We will charge them approximately half of what they are and have been charging us. So the tariffs will be not a full reciprocal. I could have done that, yes, but it would have been tough for a lot of countries. We didn't want to do that.
This is not Liberation Day, it's Recession Day in the United States of America. That's what the Trump tariffs are going to do.
Experts say expect prices to go up anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 to $15,000 on foreign cars and $3,000 to $8,000 on domestic brands.
The Salvation Army of Jefferson County is helping people get back on their feet after multiple rounds of severe weather. The nonprofit held a drive-through food distribution event this morning to help replace food lost due to recent power outages caused by storms. It's the first giveaway since a fire devastated the location last November. Organizers say they're also preparing to help anyone impacted by tonight's weather.
The Cardinals were able to get today's Businessman Special in before the rain moved in. However, the weather is impacting two highly anticipated baseball games at Busch Stadium this weekend. With heavy rains in the forecast, the Savannah Bananas have postponed their sold-out Banana Ball games for Friday and Saturday. The games will now be played on July 18th and 19th. If you have tickets, you need to check your email for details.
Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is back with the weather impact forecast. Now that severe weather is behind us, we are looking ahead to all of the rain that is expected.
Yeah, we have some more unsettled weather on the way, but not the severe threat like we dealt with today and like they're dealing with tonight. You have tornadoes here that are on the ground confirmed southwest of Louisville, and that area right now under the gun with those stronger storms starting to push into the Louisville, Kentucky area. It's been across southern portions of Indiana. Look at all these reports of severe weather. That's wind, that's hail, that's tornadoes. We were not alone in the severe weather today. Although when you look at this, the majority of the damage is east and south of St. Louis from today. And then earlier, we had some of that from last night during the overnight hours well to our west. So St. Louis really on the good side of this system is the ingredients not coming together in full force around the metro area. And we are all clear from a severe threat behind this line. We are not going to see clear skies, though, or clearing skies for very long. The next weather system starts moving in tomorrow, and we're turning our attention to Friday and Saturday when heavy rains will increase the flash flooding potential and the river flooding potential. So we're clearing those drains. We're checking the sump pumps. If you've had water in the basement before, you stand a good chance of having that happen again. And it's the same pattern. The upper level low out here to the west keeps spinning chunks and bundles of energy towards us. The next one comes in for tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night. And then on Friday, we will get another big area of heavier rain for Friday evening, Friday night. I know this is springtime. You're into April. A lot of folks like to do camping here. A lot of campgrounds are going to be pretty soggy here down to the south and southwest of St. Louis. And by Saturday afternoon, another big surge of potentially heavy rain sliding in. It's really going to add up. Around the St. Louis area, probably 2 to 5 inches easily of rain. And then going south and east of St. Louis, you get into higher amounts as you get closer to the Ohio River. The flood watch, that's been extended just a hair farther north, now includes Vandalia, Greenville, and through Madison County, the city of St. Louis County, and back through Franklin County. There still could be further adjustments if this nudges a little farther north. The bullseye for more than a foot of rain over the next few days along the Ohio River down towards Memphis. Again, 2 to 5 inches, pretty likely north and west of St. Louis, and 5 to 10 inches as you go farther to the southeast. That's over 4 days, but it's going to result in a rapid rise on the smaller rivers, including the Merrimack, where there could be some moderate to major flooding. We hit 81 today. Temperatures back down into the 60s now as the skies are starting to clear out and the winds are easing. We will be clearing off tonight. Tomorrow, you're looking at the rain moving back in during the afternoon hours, only in the 50s for highs tomorrow. And here is your next 7 days as we look at those weather impact alert days for Friday and Saturday. Yeah, another bunch of rain to deal with, but at least it looks like the severe weather threat during that time frame is much lower.
Sometimes it's both.
Sometimes it is both. Unfortunately, a lot of this heavy rain that's coming is going to get areas that were really impacted by strong tornadoes tonight in Arkansas and Kentucky.
Yeah. All right, Scott, thanks. Frank is here with sports.
Probably less than 10,000 saw it, but a Cardinal catcher had an historical performance today. And I'm going to tell you point blank one of the biggest reasons why the Blues have won 10 in a row. Ivan Herrera told us the other day he's at his best when his mind is empty when he comes to the plate. He just wants to have that salsa walk-up music playing and with the attitude of seeing the ball and hitting it. Pretty simple. Well, today he hit it like no other Cardinal catcher has ever done. Herrera walked in his first time up, but in the fourth, he hammered this one deep to left. You'll notice a theme here, game tied at 1. Sixth inning, Herrera unties it, this one over 400 feet and back onto the field. Cards up, 3-1. Then in the 8th, watch for some history. Herrera caps a Cards 9-run rally with another majestic shot to left. No other Redbird catcher has ever hit 3 homers in a game. Herrera drives in 6 as the Cardinals win it 12-5.
It's amazing, doing something that is never done before, and all your grind that you did during all your career, Growing up, I didn't have any money, anything, being able to accomplish these things, it means a lot for me, for my family, for my country. A lot of kids see me as like an idol or something like that, like the way I saw Molina, and all of that, that's why I prepare so good.
That is awesome. Everybody is talking Blues hockey in town. A common question is, how did it happen? You go from like having a 2% chance of making the playoffs to getting close to locking up a bid. You know how it all started? The captain saying no to the president. Let me explain, please. When Doug Armstrong was contemplating making trades, Braden Shen said he would not give up his no-trade clause. The Blues started to play better, including Shen. They kept the roster together, and presto, a 10-game win streak and a likely playoff appearance. His teammates know the value of the captain.
I've been a fan of his kind of from afar and the way that he approaches the game and the respect that he has from everybody in the locker room and around the league, and he just does everything the right way. He's our emotional leader. He'll stand up and fight for guys. He'll set the tone physically, contribute offensively. Whatever the team needs in that moment, that's what he brings, and he's an incredible leader and deserves a lot of credit.
Kelly Chase is staging his second puck cancer night at Centene on Friday night. He wasn't planning on it, but when his leukemia came back, he decided to raise some more money. Last year, they brought in about $800,000 for cancer research. It's the Blues alumni against the Blackhawks. And the great Chris Chelios told me today, Blues fans didn't forget him.
I got booed last year at the event, the cancer event, and deservedly so. I just never, like I said, it was just the way I played, and I'm nowhere near the person off the ice as I am on the ice. But I got what I deserved. McRae got me good. Shanahan's got me good. You live by the sword, you die by the sword.
Would it be wild in the season with no expectations if the Cardinals end up having a really good year? And I know it's just the first week of the season. Let's enjoy this for a moment. Ivan Herrera is a really good offensive catcher, and he will be all year long. Jordan Walker was once one of the top prospects in baseball. He's hitting .389. Lars Nootbaar has a career on-base percentage of .352. Wilson Contreras, career on base, .351. Nolan Arenado is a Hall of Famer who is lighter, quicker, and who has something to prove, and who has now hit in 12 straight games. The starting pitching has been quite good, and they may have the best closer on the planet Earth in Ryan Helsley. Now, I am a homer, but after all of these negative thoughts we all had throughout the offseason and spring training, I think we can embrace a good week. I certainly am, and that's frankly speaking for tonight.
Banana ball may be on a rain delay, but it didn't stop a St. Louis attempt to peel away a world record. Well, just hours ago, history was made at the St. Louis City Museum. They secured the Guinness World Record for the most people wearing banana hats at the same time. In all, they had 309 appealing participants.
The event was inspired by the Savannah Bananas. As we told you earlier, the popular exhibition team's banana ball games at Busch Stadium this weekend were postponed because of the rain forecasted, so it's going to happen in July.
And it was a busy day. Scott, as a final check of our weather impact forecast, big concern now, flooding.
Right. We're done with severe weather threat for tonight. It really doesn't look like there's much of a severe weather threat over the next few days in terms of tornadoes, strong thunderstorms, but a lot of heavy rains coming our way. It starts tomorrow afternoon, and it's on Friday into Saturday when we will likely have the majority of our heavy rain. That means river levels come up, especially smaller rivers like the Merrimack, like the Black River down in southern Missouri. That's where we're going to have to watch, the smaller rivers, creeks,
So
and
places
streams.
like 141 and 44, which always get flooded in these situations.
It's very possible we'll
Yeah.
have some problems by the weekend.
There you have it. 5 on your side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+.
We hope you'll start your day with Today in St. Louis at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.